All right. Thanks for staying with us for this titanium challenge in August. Ryan has unfortunately departed the booth. I always like talking with Ryan, but, you know, we only have so many of these fine August evenings left, and I don't blame the man. He's going to go enjoy it. For our other semifinal, we have Joe Chagnon and his dredge deck. The only one in the room, I believe. He's playing against Joe Horton. Joe and his Eldrazi Tron deck. Now, we saw Joe Horton go natural Tron twice in a row. And he won both games pretty easily. Let's see if he can do it again. Not with his 7. He's going to have to go to 6 for that. Now, in the Joe Mirror match, I don't know who to give it to. Like, normally I'd say, excuse me, whoever has the bigger beard would have an edge. But look at Joe's hair, right? Like, that has to balance out. I have to think it does. But with both players on 6, both players know what each other is playing. When you play in a 70-person tournament, you tend to know what the other players that are doing well are on. As much as you want to try and hide it, there's always going to be a time when they can come over and see what you're playing. So they know. Joe knows he has to mulligan for a fast draw because he has to race this dredge deck of Joe Chagnon's. Joe? Oh, man. I can't just say Joe. Call him Chags. Joe Chags over there. He is a faithful dredge player. He's been playing dredge a while. He switched from a Coco deck to dredge, thought it gave him more game. And honestly, I don't blame him because even this Eldrazi Tron deck, which usually they play 4 Relic of Progenitus because it's so good and it's one of the only good options, Joe only has 2 because the graveyard decks are just not there. And Joe, with the good metagame call, he's been faithful to his deck. He's like, man, maybe this week people will bring less dredge hate, and he's finally right. So turn 1, Faithless Looting. I believe that was a turn 1, Faithless Looting. Either way, we're dredging again. We've dredged a Stinky and a Dark Blast. Narcomoeba is in play. So the reason that Joe's asking is the reason Horton is asking is that all of Joe's cards are foreign. Some people do the foil, some people do the original printing. Joe's cards are all foreign. A little clarification on Dark Blast. So Stinkweed Imp is dredged, puts Prized Amalgam in the yard, Bloodghast to play, triggers the Prized Amalgam at the end of the turn. Horton helping him out. Nice guy. Joe Horton not interested in cheesing his opponents, getting them to forget their triggers. He's a stand-up guy. He likes the game played fast, played correctly. That's a good way to be. These players are in the semifinal of this Titanium Challenge here in August. They're playing for the right to win an invitation to the Titanium Finals this upcoming January. That's $5,000 cash tournament where every player makes money if they attend. Only 24 people. This game, Joe does not have Natural Tron. Joe Horton does not have Natural Tron, unlike in the quarterfinal match where he did turn 3 Tron off an Expedition map. Each time, this time he's going to have to settle for probably getting an Eldrazi Temple. This game 1, though, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't really matter because game 1 almost always belongs to dredge, and it does here. I mean, look at this. This is turn 3. Chagnon has 8 power in play, attacking, and potential Conflagrates. But has no Cathartic, has no extra Neonate, has no Black Source to even cast Stinkweed Imp. He can just say go. So there's the Temple. Here's the Thought Knot. And, you know, at this point, you have to kind of question why Chagnon didn't play the Conflagrate. Maybe saving it to discard to a Cathartic. But I think in that situation, you have to think about the possibility that your opponent's going to Thought Knot you. Right? I mean, you're facing down 2 lands, can't do Natural Tron. You have to say, what is the best play my opponent can have? The answer is probably Thought Knot, taking Conflagrate. It'd be a lot better if X was 0 cast from hand. But now it's exiled. Loam, though, brings back some lands, including a black source for the Dark Blast, which means that Joe cannot block down the Amalgam. He has to block the Bloodghast. Smasher. All right, getting the correct life total is 19-6. So Joe Horton can only really hold back and watch this Narcomoeba peck away at his life. Attack, block, block. Dark Blast not gonna be profitable here, but at the same time, land comes into play, brings back all these creatures anyway, so it doesn't really matter. It's a free attack. You might as well do it. Your opponent's tapped out. He doesn't main deck Surgical. No reason not to try and attack. Maybe he'll psych himself out into taking 2 damage or something. Stinkweed Imp is cast. 2 prized Amalgams are brought back. So Mana Reshaper comes down for Horton. And the judge is called. Joe is a question away from the table. Looks like an easy one. Chalice, X is 1. That's all he can muster, and he has to say go. This is not good for Joe Horton. He does have the Chalice, like I said, to counteract the Conflagrate. Conflagrate's CMC is 1 when flashed back, so Chalice does counter it. But 2 flying damage here, as well as 1 Bloodghast guaranteed to get through, means he can drop Joe Horton to 1 life if he wants to. Now this would give Joe a Mana Reshaper trigger. Another chance to find an All Is Dust, to find a Walking Ballista. Something like this. So at this point, if I'm Chagnon, I might just be attacking with the 2 flyers. Giving your opponent a Mana Reshaper trigger is so risky. But Chagnon, the experienced Dredge player, he has other ideas. The reason I'm not there playing Dredge in the semifinals is because I can't do it. So listen to Joe. Listen to Chagnon. He's the one who's experienced. His opponent drops to 1 life. Joe Horton is at 1 life. Can Chagnon come up with 1 point of damage? Can he not die? Can his board not get wiped? It would take something like a Walking Ballista X is 3. And even then, that might not be enough. Horton's head in Horton's hands. Horton hears a Narcomoeba. Cathartic Reunion from Chagnon. I think that's what that was. Ah, no, this is a Haunted Dead activation. That is a 1/1 flyer, yet another lethal creature. Horton is at 1 life. As far as outs go, I'm not sure he has any. Ulamog Ceaseless Hunger, even if he could cast it, doesn't even do it. Chagnon's deck getting small, but it doesn't matter. Because look at this army. Horton needs something like land, 2 Spirit Guides, all his dust, and he doesn't play Spirit Guide. I mean, yeah, this attack's cute, but Chagnon could just take the damage and it wouldn't matter. Because he's DOB. You know what, though? He's letting his opponent have some fun. He's letting Chagnon have some fun. I'm a big proponent of letting your opponent have fun in a Magic tournament. That's what they came here to do. Might as well make him go through the motions. But Chagnon did not F6 his turn. He did remember to enter the attack phase. And Joe Horton, a little gloomy after that match. And it's hard to blame him. That's pretty upsetting. Get this far, then get paired against a deck that is just operating on a different axis than you entirely. They'll go to the boards. Horton, he's got 2 Graph Diggers. He's got 2 Relics. He's got a Ratchet Bomb. He's got a Worm Coil. He's got 2 Surgicals. He's got a Hanger Back if he wants a Hanger Back. This is pretty beastly from him in terms of sideboarding. He has 6 direct hate cards that are very good. And then a couple role players that can hold them off or just create a giant threat. Like Worm Coil Engine is a giant threat that must be answered. And Stinkweed Imp, I would not consider an answer because you still gain 6 life and then gain 3 more life. Chagnon, on the other hand, shows us with his sideboard why Dredge is such a good Game 1 deck and a little weaker of a Game 2 and 3 deck. Because your opponent gets these bomb sideboard cards. They get cards that shut off your entire deck where you have to sideboard answers to these cards, right? Like Chagnon has in his sideboard Nature's Claim, Ancient Grudge, Abrupt Decay, Thoughtseize, all aimed at stopping the hate cards. Because he has to, because he can't just fold to a single 1-mana card. He has to be playing answers. But the games where your opponent doesn't draw and you draw too many answers, the games where that card gets chaliced, like Nature's Claim X=1, gets chaliced very easily. Thoughtseize X=1 very easily, or the hate card could come down before you draw Thoughtseize. So it's tough. It's tough. You side in these answer cards, and they're not necessarily where you want to be at. He'll side in some combination of these. Will not side in the Collective Brutalities. Will probably not side in Gnaw to the Bone. Lightning Axe is pretty good. 1 red mana removal spell. Doing what you want to do anyway. Discard a card. Thanks for sticking with me, everybody, on this YouTube. My voice is, as you can hear, going, almost gone. And the fact that you've listened to me talk for even just the 10 minutes you've been listening is pretty awesome. So appreciate that. If you feel like going one further for us, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you feel like going even further than that, you can like the video, share it on Facebook, comment any of this stuff. Tag your friend Joe or Joe on Facebook and make fun of them for winning and or losing and or messing up. Do any of these things, and I would be very happy. If you have a major gripe with what's going on the channel, with the series, anything, hit me up on Facebook. Let me know in the YouTube comments. We only get better when you tell us. We only get better. Like, for example, I was talking to Gerard Fredette, playing Red Green Land Death. He made top 8. Did a deck tech right before the top 8. He let me know. He's like, hey, Zach, man, the volume levels are just too low sometimes. Most of the time. And I didn't really know that. So I'll immediately turn that up. I'll immediately fix that. And give him a shout out. So if you want that, let me know. So Here we go. Joe Horton, Eldrazi Temple. Joe Chagnon, Faithless Looting. Both players where they want to be. Joe would love another temple. Matter Reshaper. Not the best, but it's aight. Another Matter Reshaper will join it. Well, Joe Chagnon, it's a really slow hand here. Not sure what's going on for him. Just dredging. Luckily for him, Matter Reshapers are not the quickest clock. I think they'll add up. Yeah, 3 turns, he's dead. But if you give any deck in Modern 3 turns, they better be doing something good. Dredge included. Okay, that's a dredge. And that's okay. Let's see what Joe's got. Looks like he's laying out something here. What's he laying out? Ah, it's a Conflagrate. Giving Joe 2 Matter Reshaper triggers. 2 free spells. Pretty good. Pretty good. Joe will probably end of turn sack this Mind Stone. Have a ton of cards to work with. Let's see what he's going to do. Joe Horton looking at Joe Chagnon's graveyard. The Joe Mirror match. Sean Cruikshank waits in the finals. The 3 decks that are left in the tournament. Dredge, Eldrazi. Seems like Ensnaring Bridge is in a pretty good place right about now. So Narcomoeba stares down Matter Reshaper. Match of the century. Faithless Looting, flashback, Chagnon doing his thing. Not at a super high velocity, right? This is not like the format right when Dredge came out, the old extended format where everything was just busted. This is not even the Dredge deck where Golgari Grave Troll was legal. Busted. This is not the Dread Return Dredge deck. This is 2017 Dredge, just decent value with great inevitability. Chagnon doing his thing. It's not absurd. It's just pretty good. And Joe's 3/2 threats, I mean, they match up all right. It's not the worst. It's really those Conflagrates that you have to worry about going long. It's the ability for the Dredge deck to just dome you for 8 3 times in a row. So Chagnon, 1 card in hand. It's going to take him quite a few life from the Loams to get up to that Conflagrate for 8. Oh, what's this? Whoa. Walking Ballista. That's a beating. That can kill Narcomoeba and live to tell the tale. Top decked Eldrazi, Urza's Power Plant representing so much work, but here we go. Ancient Grudge from the Yard. Missed that one the first time. That'll take out the Walking Ballista. Joe thinking about whether or not it's even worth it to kill these Bloodghasts. Obviously, Narcomoeba's dying. That's a given. Horton might be thinking about a surgical. Anytime my opponent looks at my graveyard this much, I'm immediately suspicious of a surgical extraction. Wow, look at this. I thought for sure Narcomoeba was dying. Horton has other plans. Okay, good. I was going to say, I don't even know how to play Magic. I thought for sure Narcomoeba was dying, and it did, eventually. Loam comes back, Grudge is milled. So Chagnon has another answer to a Walking Ballista, should Joe have it. Joe really needing to draw one of his hate cards. He has not hit a Relic. He has not hit a Graph Diggers. He has not hit a Surgical. You can see it on his face. He's bummed out. He's like, what the hell, man? I got 6 sideboard cards. Where are they? And I'd be thinking the same thing, because to lose to a deck like Dredge, like I said, it's going on just a different axis than you, is so frustrating. Surgical would be prime here. Take out the Bloodghasts. But he doesn't have it. And you know what, Horton? At least the Bloodghasts don't have haste, okay? They don't have haste. Don't shake your head, they don't have haste. It's okay, you got time, kid. Faithless Looting flashed back. Stinkweed Imp dredged. Stinkweed Imp dredged. Now, if Joe Horton can hit a Relic of Progenitus right now, 3/4 of Chagnon's deck would be removed from the game. The Haunted Dead removed from the game. Most of the Bloodghasts removed from the game, right? If he can somehow kill the Bloodghast and then Relic. Now, come on, Horton. You can do it. Draw the Relic. Collar. Not the worst. Not the worst. In for 3. 10 life to 22 life. Joe Horton, you have multiple draw steps. Don't get too down. Horton, very flooded. He would love to have a Seagate Wreckage this game. He'd love to have Natural Tron this game. He'd love to draw just one of his big mana sinks. His Kozilek, the Great Distortion, his Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger. His Walking Ballistas. He'd love to draw hate cards, Surgical, Graph Diggers, Relic. Any of these would be good. And for 4, Horton at 18. Looks like a Haunted Dead activation. Okay. Even in all his dust right now is fine. It sets Chagnon back a little bit, and he's running out of deck. Joe Horton, 18 life. Not facing down 18 power. Important to note, not facing down 18 power yet. He can live. But he's not happy about it. Stinky blocks. Joe Horton, here we go. Here's the redraw. What will Horton flip off Reshaper? Is it an All Is Dust? Is it a Relic? Is it yet another non-Urza's Power Plant land? Yes. This is game 3. This is the game that matters. Chagnon looking to advance to the finals. He went 6-1 through the Swiss. He's won his quarterfinal. He's 7-1 on the day. Looking to go to 8-1. Looking to lock up the invitation to the Titanium Finals. Can he do it? Need something pretty good right about now. I have no idea what these two cards in his hand could be. One has to be a land, right? You'd think so. Walking Ballista would be pretty good. With the equip. That might be what this is. Oh. Pulls the trigger on the All is Dust. Joe Chagnon going to be leaning really heavily on this Haunted Dead as he's running out of deck. He only has so many dredges left. This will probably be Life from the Loam. Fuel the Conflagrate. Loam and back. And man, seeing Chagnon play this dredge deck makes me want to build it, let me tell you. He plays it crisply. If any of y'all had questions about it, I'm sure you could hit him up on Facebook. He'd be happy about that. We all love talking about our babies. And any man who has an all-foreign dredge deck, well, that's his baby. So land drop means that All His Dust was almost for nothing. He brings 12 power into play. Okay, there's a power plant. Horton back in it. Horton, here's a 15 mana. Walking Ballista? Could it be Walking Ballista? No way. That would be busted. I mean, I'm not sure what he's thinking about. Either he has something to do with all this mana or he doesn't. Oh, it's a Ballista. Okay, so the thing he's thinking about, the Ancient Grudge still in the graveyard. That's what Horton's thinking about right now. He's like, man, do I just have to hope that Chagnon forgot about it? Ah. He knew. Joe Chagnon doesn't miss much. But what do you Ancient Grudge? That's the question. I think, as scary as it is, you kill the Walking Ballista. Yep, Walking Ballista was the target. If it was Basilisk Collar, Joe would immediately bin it. It's Ballista. What do you do with the Ballista? Do you just ping your opponent and hope you rip a Ballista? Do you ping down his Bloodghasts? Give yourself maybe another draw phase? Do you ping down 2 Prized Amalgams? It's definitely not 2 Prized Amalgams, because Haunted Dead is waiting in Chagnon's yard. He says 6 to you. I think that's the right play. As weird as that is, to not deal with your opponent's board state at all, that's got to be what you do. So, okay, no Haunted Dead. Chagnon decides he does not need that Haunted Dead. Neonate. Go. Here we go. Joe Horton, what can you draw? Trying to force a game 3. This will get a Seagate Wreckage for 1 additional draw step. What'll it be? What will his 1 draw step be? I think it has to be All His Dust. In case you couldn't hear it, he says, all right, deck, 1 time. Ghost quarter. Not it. Joe Horton extends the hand, smile on his face. He's not so happy, but, you know, he gave it his best shot. He made that game close. He got his opponent to 4 life with drawing 0 of his 6 hate cards without drawing Worm Coil Engine, without drawing Ratchet Bomb, without drawing any of this stuff. So he has to be pretty happy with how he played the game, at least. He's not happy with his result. He's got to be happy with how he played the game. Well played, Horton. You keep coming close. One of these days, you're going to get it. Going to get that invite. Chagnon moves on, and I can stop calling him Chagnon. That's good. Joe moves on. Joe Chagnon moves on. Congratulations, Joe. If you let this recording continue, it's going to be the finals. Let it happen.